Hey everyone, welcome back to another Death Valley Discovery video. This is part 5 of my ongoing series. And today I'm here with my son Stefan, my wife Daria, and our friend Elyscia. And we're going to be hiking to Sunlight Bridge. Now Sunlight Bridge, I consider that to be the crown jewel of my personal Death Valley explorations and discoveries. And this is kind of like a 10-year anniversary hike to it, as it was a little over 10 years ago when I first co-discovered Sunlight Bridge along with fellow hiker Kauri. And that was on November 15th, 2013. So we are heading up into the Grapevine Mountains just west of Redwall Canyon. And we're heading toward the mouth of Rock Nettle Canyon. The approach to Rock Nettle Canyon starts out very gradual. You can see the fan we're walking across. Very gentle slope. But if you look ahead a little bit, as we continue toward the mouth of Rock Nettle Canyon, the slope of the fan gets quite a bit steeper. Let me take a moment and show you exactly where we're hiking. Here in the Grapevine Mountains, we have the mouth of Rock Nettle Canyon straight ahead. But looking over this way, on the right side we have the mouth of Redwall Canyon. And then in between it, these two canyons, Rock Nettle and Redwall, you can see the girls hiking. And in the middle is what's known as Gallery Canyon. I am really excited to be back here in Death Valley National Park filming another series of discovery videos. The last one I filmed was part 4, which was Double Bridge and Squeeze Slot, and that was about 10 months ago or so. So I have another series of hikes as I continue these Death Valley Discovery videos that I'm going to be sharing with you and filming on this trip. As we continue hiking up this fan, let me tell you about a few of the obstacles we're going to be dealing with today. We're going to be starting out with Sunlight Canyon, and that does have a major dry fall which needs to be bypassed. And then we're going to continue up Rock Nettle Canyon into Rock Nettle Slot. That also has a major dry fall which needs to be bypassed. Right here, if you can see the wash there in the center, that is coming out of what I call Gallery Canyon. Stefan's looking back down the fan there toward the road, the North Highway. We've come about 1.6 miles so far, so making good progress in this easier portion of the hike. As you can see right here, Rock Nettle Canyon is beginning to take shape. We're at the mouth of the canyon now, and the left side wall forms first with this conglomerate rock. Looking back toward the mouth of Rock Nettle Canyon, you can see how the canyon kind of takes a wide bend early on, and also how one side of the canyon is fully formed with the nice conglomerate rock ridge formations, whereas the other side is not yet formed over here. In the month of January, we have some flowers in bloom here in Rock Nettle Canyon. We just passed by the first side canyon heading off to the left here in Rock Nettle Canyon. But as you're hiking up this, when you see this large hillside on the right and the canyon kind of closes all together, that's when you know you're getting close to the junction with Sunlight Canyon. As far as the origin of the name of this canyon, informal name Rock Nettle Canyon, which is widely known and used, this canyon was first hiked and named by a hiker named Kauri in December of 2011. And then it wasn't till February 13th of 2013 that I had a chance to get out here and hike it for the first time. But this has some truly beautiful spots, as you'll see a little later on. Check out some of the colors and texture of this wall here in Rocknettle. Very nice looking canyon wall there. So we're just about to the junction. A really pretty canyon wall right here. And this is just before getting to the junction with Sunlight Canyon. And this right here is the junction with Sunlight Canyon, which we're going to turn up after taking a break for a few minutes. So our friend Elyscia hiking with us today has been up Sunlight Canyon. So Elyscia, what did you think of it, or what should we expect as we go up?
Yeah, it's really neat. It's unlike a lot of other places I've seen in Death Valley. So really beautiful red walls, narrows, and then my favorite part is actually the end, which I will leave as a surprise for when we get there.
Right as we enter Sunlight Canyon, check out these very beautiful colors on this rock. Stefan's climbing the first of quite a few boulder obstacles in this canyon. Such a great start to this canyon. Absolutely love these walls and colors. Looking back down the early part of Sunlight Canyon, you can see how it gets quite steep and rocky, the narrow channel. Passing through a short section of narrows here. This is not the main narrows, but kind of a preview section. As you can see, there's more and more rockfall we're having to climb up as we work our way up Sunlight Canyon. Gets steeper, narrower, and more rockfall. As we continue up, we're keeping an eye on the hillside there on the right, because we're going to need to bypass a 40-foot dry fall in a few minutes. So we're just working our way up to the dry fall first to check it out. Here's a neat little grotto that's been formed by some fallen boulders off the hillside. We've come to the 40-foot dry fall obstacle right here in Sunlight Canyon. So this is where we're going to need to backtrack and do a little bit of a bypass on the hillside. Yeah, right here gets a good handhold. We just completed that bypass. You can see the view here. Wasn't that long of a bypass, just a short steep part that was kind of difficult. Now, as you can see, we are getting back into Sunlight Canyon above the major dry fall. We are now getting into some of the slot narrows of Sunlight Canyon. is Sunlight Bridge, as I mentioned earlier, what I consider to be the crown jewel of my Death Valley explorations and discoveries. And to kind of give you a sense of the excitement I felt when I first co-discovered this bridge, let me read you what I wrote back then, a little over 10 years ago. I said, "It was Friday morning, November 15th, 2013. The sunlight above the canyon was creating a fiery red and yellow glow on the walls of the Narrows. The canyon was already amazing. And then I walked around a corner and was literally stunned beyond belief. In front of me stood one of the most colorful and beautiful major natural bridges that I'd ever seen. It's hard to put into words what that moment felt like inside. It was the best moment that I had ever had in Death Valley in all my years of hiking there. I just stood there for several minutes, staring at the new bridge in disbelief. When I finally accepted that I had just co-discovered a brand new major natural bridge, I walked forward to take a closer look." So hopefully that gave you a glimpse into how I felt on that day here on this 10-year anniversary hike of co-discovering Sunlight Bridge. Right here we have just passed through Sunlight Bridge, and we're going to continue up Sunlight Canyon into some more slot narrows. Here's the main canyon, and I'm going to turn off on this into this slot and just go up it for a minute. Slot is very tight. The red walls. Slot continues. Really tight spot right here. Side slot goes on for quite some time. Another small climb right here. Before it dead ends at this trap fall. Heading back down the side slot. We are back in the main canyon now. See that pinnacle rising above the canyon right there? It's a neat marker spot. A lot of boulders to climb over here in the Narrows. Here's a really neat bend in the canyon. We came up that, and we're going around through here. Made it. We've been climbing some steep terrain for the last 15 minutes or so. So we reach another bend in the canyon. These canyon walls, when sunlight does filter into here on a brighter day, it creates kind of like a fiery glow of red and yellow. Makes the canyon all the more impressive. We've reached the amphitheater at the end of Sunlight Canyon. There's twin dry falls. Right here at the end of the canyon is one of the coolest spots of Narrows. Let me see if I can come through here and show you what it looks like. Right here you can see that beautiful stretch of Narrows that we just passed through. Right here at the end of the canyon. Look at these bright sunlight colors at the end of the canyon. There's Stefan. We're at the end of Sunlight Canyon, the major dry fall. Look at how huge this is. Truly spectacular ending. That's one final look at Sunlight Bridge. As I'm just heading under the bridge right now, as we work our way out of Sunlight Canyon, wanted to mention a couple things. First of all, the name Sunlight Bridge, where did it come from? Well, when I co-discovered it with Kauri, I came up with about 30 potential names for this major natural bridge. And then I narrowed it down to my 5 favorites and presented that list to her. And she ultimately chose Sunlight Bridge as her favorite, and that's what we ended up naming this natural bridge. And it was named, the name Sunlight Bridge is fitting because the sunlight that filters into the canyon and on the bridge creates a fiery red glow like sunlight at certain times of day. And then also it provides a connection with nearby Moonlight Bridge. Moonlight is pale, and that's the same coloring of the bridge there at Moonlight Bridge. It has a pale color to it, whereas sunlight is bright red and yellow, and this bridge has that coloring. So it provides a little bit of a connection between the two bridges that are close to each other, Moonlight Bridge and Sunlight Bridge. Right here, we're working our way bypassing back down into the canyon down below. We've got a route going right down here. A little bit steep, but manageable. Right here, I've just come out of Sunlight Canyon, and we're turning into Rock Nettle Canyon. So right now we're back in Rock Nettle Canyon, and we're heading for the turnoff for the red slot. Right here, we've turned out of Rock Nettle's main canyon, and this is the beginning of the red slot. Canyon walls have transitioned from red conglomerate rock to this colorful rock. Really pretty through here. So we've passed through the start of this canyon, Rock Nettle red slot. There's a couple bypasses because there's going to be a major dry fall up ahead. So there's a long bypass that bypasses all of these narrows on the left or north side of the canyon. And then up here closer to the dry fall, there's a short bypass. That one's better because it allows you to see these narrows, which are very pretty. Look at this colorful rock right here. What a neat spot in the canyon. At this spot we're going to exit and take the short bypass because up ahead is the major dry fall. We're going to climb up this boulder gully and then turn left once we get up it. We climbed up that rocky gully right there, and then the bypass kind of loops around, goes up this short section. Look at this view looking back down the canyon from the end of the bypass. So we're just gonna walk over this way and get back into the canyon wash. Much easier coming down the other side here. And right down there is the dry fall. I'm not gonna walk over to it, but we're going to continue up canyon here. Kind of like dry cascades right here. This nice formation up on the hillside here. Right next to it, a big chunk of it that recently broke off fell right here into the wash. Heading into some really nice narrows right here. Is going for quite a while. Stefan is climbing up the entrance there into what is officially the Rock Nettle Red Slot. One interesting thing about this, years ago I was talking to somebody in NPS and they told me that they considered this spot through here some of the best slot narrows in Death Valley. So let's go in and take a look at them. This right here is the slot entrance area. It's a short open section right here. See some rock fall dropping into the canyon. Rocknettle Red Slot is such a beautiful spot here in the Grapevine Mountains. Towering cliffs of red that really enclose you as you walk through two separate tight passageways. You can see why a decade ago or so this area had great popularity, and many in NPS and other hikers in the know were coming up here to check this area out. Stefan's going to show us how to climb this boulder gem obstacle, or we might call it a rocknettle obstacle, with the plant on his left there. Nice job, went right up it. This is kind of where Rocknettle Red Slot ends. You can see Stefan, double dry fall here. Stefan just climbed up the right side and climbed back down. We turned around at the dry fall at the end there, just heading back through the last part of the Rocknettle Red Slot. Nice decision. We hope to include Gallery Canyon in this loop, but it's just not realistic with these short winter days. We don't want to be scrambling down the slopes in the darkness. So we're going to work our way back down Rocknettle Red Slot and into Rocknettle Canyon. Earlier I mentioned that there's a short and long bypass to get up this canyon, and we did the short pass going up canyon. And right off here, you can see our hikers beginning the hike up toward the long bypass. So I'll show that to you so you can check out this alternate route. At the top of the long bypass, this is the view. Look at upper Rocknettle Red Slot. And looking down at Rocknettle Canyon.
That's so pretty, wow.
The sun is just now setting. Last few glimpses of it. And it's down. We're just at the very end here of the long bypass, looking back down into the slot we walked through earlier. You can see Rocknettle Main Canyon just ahead after we work our way down this last spot. There's a nice short shallow slot right here. A couple of our hikers are down in there. So this short slot on the left side looking up the ridge ended at a major dry fall. You can see Elyscia and Daria climbing up and out of it right there. And here's where the long bypass ends. On the left side, that's Rocknettle Red Slot Side Canyon, and the right side is Rocknettle Canyon. So we're just dropping down the final spot here. This right here is the end of the long bypass. Have to say, considerably harder than the short bypass. Here at sunset, that's about it for this Death Valley Discovery video. Here in the Grapevine Mountains, we visited Sunlight Canyon and Rocknettle Canyon. So thanks again for watching, and I'll be back soon with another Death Valley Discovery video.